That's fine, yeah, that's great. I'll keep notes on this thing for this time, so.
Yeah.
You were saying?
I may have seen his name in one of the email chains.
Probably, yeah, it's probably in there. Mm.
David. Yeah, he's on the email chains.
January 22nd email.
That's what I was thinking.
Oh, no. I don't have a January 22nd email here. This might not be resolvable tonight. Good evening and welcome to the February meeting of the Upper Darby Shade Tree Commission. I'm Mike Atwell. With me is Eric Burns. It is Thursday, February 6th. We have a decent agenda tonight. We're going to go through about 6 or 7 things, which will include public comment and updates on some things and maybe some brainstorming for other things. So we'll get started. Item number 1 is the commission update. And the update is that our third commissioner, Evan Hunt, resigned at the end of January. And so right now we are a commission of 2. We are interested in talking with folks who might be interested and who might bring some energy and ideas and expertise to the Shade Tree Commission. The expertise part is not a terrible requirement. It's more, I think a requirement is caring about the township. Of course, living in the township, Eric.
A willingness to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, a willingness to meet monthly, to team up with some of the volunteer groups in the township and in the region, to be curious, to learn about trees and plantings, and to try to make Upper Darby better. So that is the commission update, as well as the advertisement for new commission, third commission member. Item number 2 on our agenda is the spring planting. We have a number of trees in the township's nursery that did not get planted by the township staff in the fall, so those are remaining to be planted. Many of those are kind of large specimens in 10-gallon buckets. So those need to be planted this season. And in addition, we're considering ordering trees from the Horticultural Society for a number of spaces in the public areas of Upper Darby, thinking about like 15 trees in a variety of parks and other public locations, We'll need to decide that before the end of the month. And so that'll be going on with Eric and me and maybe some other township residents. Anything else on that, you think, Eric? On
No.
spring planting?
No, I think that sounds exactly.
Okay. The third item is Dermond, what I call Dermond Field. Is that,
That's right.
yeah. It's a baseball complex in Upper Darby that is shared by a couple of baseball leagues. And right now, it consists of a number of baseball diamonds, baseball fields, and not a lot of tree shelter or shrubbery or anything like that. And there was interest from the two, or at least one of the leagues that plays there, to get connected, to get some trees planted there to provide shade for spectators, for kids, for anybody in the park, dog walkers. When Eric and Evan and I were there kind of surveying the park, there were folks, in the winter just walking dogs and enjoying the park. And so a number of trees planted there would be a significant upgrade. And so we're in the process of sorting out with the Little League kind of how to do that, how we'll do that, who'll provide some of the labor, so on. So stay tuned for that.
The proposal is for 50 trees
Yeah.
currently.
Are you on?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if it's
Oh,
close
yeah,
enough.
yeah, if you would, yeah.
Yeah, the proposal's for 50 trees to be planted right now.
Mhm.
Some of them will be from the nursery with the tree tenders, and some of them will be purchased. And right now, we're waiting for all that to get sorted out.
Right.
Hopefully, quickly.
And the tree purchase would be coming from a local nursery and not PHS,
Correct.
right? Because they'd be of,
Smaller. It's a
Yeah.
smaller tree.
right.
Yeah.
What some of the feedback we got was that very helpful to the Little League would be to provide a kind of an in-service demo on how to plant a tree well, things to do right, things to avoid that are wrong, to include like depth to plant, staking and things like that, and probably fencing too,
Yeah,
because
it's
with lots
safety.
of kids playing baseball and stuff, we'd want to protect the trees when they're young. So, we'll work that out with them as well. But it's a great project that really would be a great upgrade for that park. Yeah. Okay. The fourth item on today's agenda relates to tree tenders, which is a not-for-profit volunteer group in Upper Darby. It's Tree Tenders of Upper Darby, and Upper Darby's Environmental Advisory Committee, and some projects they have proposed for 2025. Included in those three are what is called a Miyawaki planting, which is a very dense planting in a limited area in Naylor's Run Park, right? In the back, in kind of like the back section of Naylor's Run Park. And when we get to public comment, we can ask if for a little bit more detail than I will have explained on that. Second item for the Tree Tenders EAC is efforts for a pollinator garden, planting pollinator garden, which has a lot of benefits for, the urban environment, for just increasing planting, fostering, pollinating insects that are having a lot of trouble because of pesticides and other stuff and climate change. And tree nursery expansion. We're in the process of examining whether we can expand the tree nursery that is housed in the Naylor's Run Park to accommodate some of the more, well, I guess just to accommodate some of the opportunities the township gets for free seedlings and saplings, that if we didn't have a place to store them, we would have no ability to take advantage of those things. And those are the kind of things that we can share in the community on community days, at things like the International Festival, at Arbor Day, at, various activities when the mayor does his like healthy walks, those kinds of things. We can get plants into people's hands, and so expanding the tree nursery would help us be able to do that. That's what I have for item 4 for tree tenders and environmental advisory committee. Fifth item we have on the list is a little bit more of a brainstorming that I kind of wanted to do to think about the kinds of things we could do for Arbor Day. The township is in the process of developing, a number of hiking trails throughout the township that link to other places outside of the township. We have the Arbor Day weekend and Earth Day as opportunities for days to highlight the importance of, fostering trees and woody plants. So I don't know, a couple items that I just put out there was maybe like a seedling giveaway at several of the Upper Darby parks around Arbor Day. Maybe a tree walk, in the spring when trees leaf out, to offer walks with township residents to highlight some of the species of trees that there are around some of the trails. But I don't know if anybody has other ideas on ways to sort of celebrate Arbor Day. And since it's February, it's kind of time to get busy so that we could advertise and think about that stuff. I don't know.
Giveaways are always good.
Yeah,
Planting is nice too, if you can do some sort of community planting event, but you
yeah,
have to have material to do something like that.
right.
But even like if it was a giveaway,
Mm-hmm.
did that and gave away a couple seedlings, but
Yeah.
you never know if they put them in or not.
Right. And yeah, and
Really
when they're
sure, 'cause
seedlings,
you're just
there's not-
handing it to someone.
there's nothing risked, sort of,
Yeah.
though. I do, yeah.
It'd be like,
I mean, the best
give me
you
a
can do.
picture of what you
Yes,
did. Maybe
yes.
that's, get them excited enough
Right.
that they feel like they have to give you a photograph of it.
Yeah, and maybe an email to reach out to them after.
Oh, that would, yeah. that's a good
Just have a
idea.
little sign up sheet. Here's your seedling, email. We can reach out to you, check on how it did in a week. Is it still in the little cup, or,
Yeah.
like that kind of thing.
Sitting on the side of your house.
Yeah.
How are you guys with seedlings? You got a lot, right?
Yeah, we had, I guess, last spring, there were more than 130 seedlings we did not get to the ground. We put them in bags. They're in the ground.
Oh, okay.
We
Great.
had enough, 225 in the fall, about 125 shrubs.
Mm-hmm.
Other 100 trees, we put them in bags in the fall. We have them in the, but there's no more room right now.
Yeah. Well, shrubs, though, could be great for a lot of the communities where you can't have a tree.
Right.
Or,
Yeah.
properties where, row homes with wires and all that stuff on the front side, like,
Even along the
yeah.
they're not going to tree.
Mm-hmm.
Shrubs that grow to be 10, 12 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
You might have an objection, especially when you have the standards. They're going to get a vehicle next to
Right.
you.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in between,
Mm-hmm.
not as much of a problem.
Yeah.
They may not sanction it,
Right.
but they're not going to stand.
Right. And it lends variety shrubbery will be a nice kind of variety over, like just like trees and easier planting. Those bags are really nice size. That's really good.
They're 8 inches.
Yeah.
If you have to put an hour longer, I mean, you can do 40, certainly 40 in an hour.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I guess the thing we would want to do is start to ID locations to do that,
Yeah, well, in some places you need permission.
like nailers or, yeah,
If you have something right outside the nursery, that's a problem.
right, right. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, right, right. Okay. That brings us to item 6, which is public comment.
We should have just had you come up to the microphone.
Yeah, come on up.
Yeah.
We'll fix up do one of these microphones.
Anyway, I can do it here. Oh. You got it, yeah. Can't see me, it doesn't matter where I am.
Well, I guess so. Yeah, you're right, Stephen. Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Sure. Go back up to the top if we could.
Sure.
The fall 24 trees, we have a good 22 at least that are substantial size at the nursery, including river birch, sweet gum, scarlet oak, hornbeams, black cherries, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, they're all, 8, 10 feet tall,
Okay,
maybe 1.5 inch, 2 inch caliper, something like that.
great.
The new order from PHS, I don't know what the species are
Yeah.
that she's ordering,
Mm-hmm.
so I can't help you there. I do know that some of the ones we're getting this year are not going to be bare roots.
Oh,
The,
really?
PH is going to go to some of their species. They're going to come in pots or bags.
Do you know, is it clear from the order which way they'll come? Like when you're ordering it, will it be a bag? Will it be a bag or a pot?
Yes,
Okay.
it depends on the species.
Yeah,
You know,
okay.
whatever species
Yes.
comes a certain way.
Okay, right,
Okay.
right.
But
Okay.
again, I don't know which ones are which.
Sure.
Bonnie did get that email from them. In relationship to the Dermont Field, there was a scheduled date.
Yes, in April,
No, it's March 29th.
March 29th.
Because they wanted to do it before their season starts.
Oh, that's it.
So they're going to start, I think, the following weekend. Their opening weekend will be first weekend in March or whatever it is. First
Okay.
weekend in April.
Okay,
And from what I understood, they wanted to try and get them all in one day. Now, I don't know if they wanted to try and auger some holes the previous day or whatever, but we said we'd have at least 2 augers and possibly a third auger out there that morning.
mm-hmm.
I don't know the condition of how compacted the field soil is, but those augers are pretty good. Even the battery operated ones, they do a good job.
Yeah,
If you only have to go down 8 or 10 inches,
right.
the big things, if you've got a 15-gallon pot,
Mhm.
you're going to have to do 7 holes with that auger.
I don't think any of them were that big, were they?
Be
Yeah.
able,
Was there any 15 gallons? I thought they were all like 5, 2s.
Where?
The order that
Oh, yeah, they were smaller.
Yeah,
They were
Okay.
smaller.
All right.
5, 2
The
gallons.
ones that we had in the nursery, the river
Yes.
birches and the swamp oaks,
They're
that's how
15s.
big they were.
Yeah, those are, the
Okay.
river birches were
Just letting you
big.
know.
Those were 10 gallon,
You know.
like, yeah, they
Yeah.
were big.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's right.
The Miyawaki forest, the dimensions of that, if it were a rectangle, and we do not intend it to be a rectangle.
Right.
We want it to be oval. But imagine a rectangle that was 10 yards by 20 yards, 30 feet by 60 feet. I'm using the yards because it's easier to do the
Yes.
calculation. So 10 yards by 20 yards is 200 square yards.
Mm-hmm.
The way you plan a Miyawaki forest is 4 plantings per square yard. That's 800 trees. So you'd be able to put 800 trees in this minimal space.
Right.
And you can't do that without doing a lot of preparation ahead of
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
So
yeah.
there'd be extensive tilling of the soil.
Yes.
There'd be a mix of compost and another mixture,
Mhm.
possibly even microorganisms. We have 2 landscapers giving us prices on some of that stuff.
Would the grass, turf, whatever need to be cut out?
Yeah.
Okay,
And because a lot of it is weeds, I mean, if it was
Yeah.
just turf grass, you'd be going down 2 inches. In this case, you'd probably have to go down as much as 4 inches. But you'd be going deeper than that anyway to till
till.
what was there
Mhm.
and to mix in a
Mhm.
blend of compost, topsoil, whatever the mix
Mhm.
was that you're putting in.
Thinking about it, I guess methodically, you have to start in the center and like work your way out
It
because of the
depends-
density.
Depends on what tools you're using. I mean, if you're using 2 backhoes, you could get in there and probably do everything
Ah,
in one day. You'd have to have,
Wow.
a dump truck to bring a couple stuff in,
yeah,
things in. But if you were to look where this was, it is in the backfield.
Mm-hmm,
If you take the trail, take the roadway into Nailers Run,
Mhm.
as you're going to the back parking lot,
mm-hmm,
just before you get to the back parking lot, there's a chained area,
yeah,
a chained way to take a utility road up.
yep,
If you continued that utility road straight back to the creek,
uh-huh,
as soon as you get, there's some stakes in the ground there that we laid out as a possible rectangle type
Okay.
shape.
uh-huh,
That would get you to within 10 yards of the drop off to the creek.
okay,
175 feet of hose would get you to the middle of what would be the Miyawaki Forest.
okay,
And you can't just do a rain tote, 300 gallons. It's not going to handle
yeah,
something
yeah,
that's going to handle 800 trees.
right,
So you'd have to be able to water this probably at least once a week.
right,
But we could easily get the heavy pump in there. And, when it's working fine, when it's tuned well,
mhm.
we can put out 2 gallons a second.
What size trees are they when they get put in?
Seedlings,
They're seedlings. Okay.
so 18 inches.
Are they just all familiar species?
What we had planned was 32 different species,
Uh-huh,
8 canopy type trees, 8 middle size, 8 small, and 8 shrubs. So if you imagine 1 square yard, you'd have 1 of each in there, and then you'd have a bunch of these. You'd probably have to order 25 of each
of each,
species
right,
with 32 different species
yeah,
to get 800.
mm-hmm,
But that would be the goal.
yeah,
Mm.
all right,
Now, we had originally hoped that we could work this way through the township a lot quicker. The Chesapeake Bay Foundation was willing to give us 800 seedlings,
mm-hmm,
but we did not get the go-ahead. So
right.
that gratis thing was ending tomorrow.
Yeah, it's time sensitive,
Yeah.
Yep.
So at $5 a seedling,
yeah,
that's $4,000.
yeah,
Yeah, it's going by the wayside.
yeah,
But anyway, the other thing is that area would have to be fenced for,
mhm,
let's say, the first 3 years.
right,
Miyawaki Forest, generally, the interconnection of the roots
Yes.
and the growth that we provided underneath,
uh-huh,
generally those trees grow 6 times faster than a normal tree would grow. This would be so dense that within 2 years, you couldn't walk through it.
Is there a need to, like, foster any of the, like, the mycorrhizome aspect of it?
Well, that's
Is
one
that
of the
part of
things-
it?
That's one of the things, especially if you put some microorganisms in this mix originally, that would
Okay.
help. But yes, yeah, the mycorrhizomes would work too.
Okay,
But everything grows so quickly together,
yes,
they're
Yeah, yeah.
competing for sunlight, they're
Right.
competing for resources, nutrients, et cetera. There's been a lot of studies on this around the country. Nothing directly as close, some in North Jersey.
as a layperson, I would almost expect the opposite.
Right, figuring
Right?
they're
You'd
competing.
expect the
they
opposite
would.
because of the competition for resources, they'd go slower.
Yeah, right.
But it's like a race, I guess.
Yeah. And there are a number of other countries around the world that have tried this,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
What type of fence? Is it?
Yeah.
Deer fence kind of thing?
Yeah, so what we had planned
More like a
was
temporary thing?
12-foot 4x4s, 4 feet in the ground, so you have 8 feet above ground.
Right.
1 roll of 8-foot fence all the way around. Now, if you think about if it was a rectangle, so if it's 30 feet by 60 feet,
Yeah,
60 and 60,
yeah,
120, plus 30 is 150. plus 30 is 180. You need 180 feet of 8-foot fencing. The simplest thing to do would be to have one small gate, let's say 4 feet wide, on one side. And to have a path, perhaps a serpentine path
Mm-hmm.
through this, so that if you got to the middle,
Mm-hmm.
you actually couldn't see either exit or
Right,
entrance
right.
kind of thing. So you could sort of immerse yourself in the kind of thing. But that would be, let's say, a 4-foot wide path that would run through it.
That's more for maintenance?
Well, it's one other way to get into the middle of the thing to actually could start watering.
Watering.
there.
That's what I was thinking,
A lot of things
watering.
you can do
All
from there. But it's also a way to lead people on a tour of the thing. You can lead people around the outside,
Yeah.
but they're not getting
Yeah.
the real experience. I'm sorry.
Not immersed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we think it could be quite a draw to
Yeah.
the township. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, there are tree tender groups all over the place, all over Delaware County, but outside of that, there aren't any Miyawaki forests around here.
Wow.
The other thing is, if the Nailers Run Trail goes through, and we're hoping that it does in a few years, you're only 40 yards away from this.
Mm.
It's a safe enough distance away from the power lines.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the great things about this is after 2.5 years,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to water it again.
Yeah.
What happens is the transpiration from the leaves
Mm-hmm.
never gets out. It starts to comes off the leaves.
And
but
it'll
the
just come
moisture never
down.
goes all the way up. It gets
Right.
caught in the other plants, goes right back down to the ground.
Wow.
So it doesn't dry out.
Yeah, it's super dense.
Yeah. So the first 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
you've got a lot of effort to
Mhm.
put into it.
Mm-hmm.
But the Tree Tenders nursery is only 300
Right.
yards, 400 yards away.
Right.
And, you know, we think we've got the maintenance schedule and watering schedule set for 2 years. No
Mm-hmm.
problem at all.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
But, so anyway, the pollinator garden, I'm thinking that this refers to the gateway at Nailers Run, but I'm not
Yes.
positive. Okay. So the pollinator garden at Nailers, the entrance to Nailers Run, if you are entering Nailers Run, coming across from the Dunkin' Donuts, let's say, the majority of this garden would be to the left
Mm-hmm.
towards the tennis side, but right along the guardrail. It would be 8 feet wide and stretch between the two supports for the trolley and wrap around the one support where the guardrail wraps around as you're coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other side, there'd be a smaller garden. which
On
would
the
come
right-hand side?
On the right-hand side.
Mm-hmm.
It would go from the first support over
Mhm.
to the guardrail and around.
Okay.
The trolley itself has water that spills down from up
Mhm.
above,
Yeah.
and there are some pipes there that we
Mhm.
might be able to take advantage of. We've got, we plan to have one additional tote that we're going to purchase, and we have a smaller 125 gallon that can capture water there. But we also have a transfer tote that we can fill from Nailers Run.
Mm-hmm.
If we load that onto a pickup truck,
Mm-hmm.
then fill it, sorry. Should've
Right,
said
right,
that
right.
first. And then we can bring it around, and we have 2 transfer pumps to empty into that tote and into that other small device.
What's the volume of that transfer tote about?
I mean, how much can it transfer at a time?
Yeah.
50 gallons in
There's
10
a pump.
minutes?
There's a pump, right?
Wow.
Yeah, it's a small
Yeah,
transfer
There's a
pump.
small
Yeah,
pump.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
You
Yeah.
know.
That's great.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to think, we filled up rain barrels with it
Mhm,
before.
mhm.
I'm thinking 10 minutes, 50 gallons.
Great.
Couldn't say for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, just.
But
that's-
we now have 2 of them. So
Yep,
if we
yep.
have a tote that's already up there,
Right.
we could fill pretty quickly with 2
Yes.
of those. The tree expansion, can I move on to that one? The tree expansion, the nursery itself right now is 60 feet by 40 feet.
Mm-hmm.
What we intended to do was lengthen the 60 feet to 76 feet. And then it would be 76 by 40.
Yeah.
So you would have increased by, I think, 26% is what
Mhm.
it is. That would give us a lot of room to put additional things in when we get things that are
Mhm.
either donated or we get from some other source. We could grow more inside the nursery as well.
Mhm.
And we intend to put twin swing gates to
Yeah,
allow us to bring a truck
better
to enter
access.
in, to drop off and
Mhm.
bring things out.
Yeah, I think, um, we've just got I think we have some legal hurdles to deal with just as far as, um, the township solicitor, my understanding is changing, and so that we just need to run past them how we manage this, like, sharing of the, like, the nursery resource between the tree tenders and the township before we, do more, but
Okay.
it's my intention to continue with it.